And this year it hasn't worked out well for him.
Yeah, and I mean that was where I was headed with my point is that, it's a good thing, but I don't like relying on it too much personally.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna bash it at all because, as we've talked about, like that's the difference between us being 6-7 and us being 6-1 is the guys that we've gotten out of the transfer portal. However, to echo what Brad was just saying, I don't love relying on it because, one, you don't know who is going to be there. Just leaving a spot open for the transfer portal, who knows if there's a corner that we like that even enters his name. So like I don't love it for that reason. Also, I mean, like you have to wonder why a guy's leaving, right? I mean,
Yeah.
each case has their own unique circumstances, so I don't want to paint with a broad brush here. But if it wasn't working out at his last stop, why is it a sure thing that it will work out this time?
For sure. And I mean,
Yeah.
what you just mentioned with the transfer portal also goes hand in hand with the same as the recruits in classes every year. I mean, Tim Burns, we just talked about, that's a perfect example. It's like, I brought up McBurrows that possibly he could be the guy, but it's like, we're all speculating that the staff dropped Tim Burns, which if that's the case, okay, we need a replacement. But at the same time, we don't have any other corners right now in the class. So why not hold on to him until you actually get the other guy? And then now, what if we don't get another one? Now we're screwed even more.
Yeah, gosh, you guys are scaring me now. My God. Okay, last guy I want to ask you about, Brad, Terrence Lewis. What do you
Ooh.
think?
Man, highly rated, probably could be honestly the best linebacker on our football team if he commits. Like day
Yes.
one, I think he could probably start. He's a kid, right? With a lot of these commits that we talk about, we got to kind of pinch ourselves and remember, like, these are like 17-year-old kids that their mind changes every other day. And with a kid like Terrence Lewis, for most of us that have been following recruiting, he is at the top of the list when it comes to changing his mind. As we all follow him on social media, I mean, one week it's like I'm tagging James Williams, I'm throwing the orange and green hearts, and then the next week it's like, nah, I'm a Tennessee commit. I'm holding on. We're gonna be all right. I'm gonna take care of this class. I think he's just playing both sides right now. Me personally, I think it's a kid that he's got some trouble at home. I don't know what exactly it is, or if it's the people around him. So I think at times when things don't work out at home, he kind of takes it out on social media, and he's like, man, I need to get out of South Florida, which, some kids just have to do that. But at the same time, when you look deep into Terrence Lewis, I think it's a kid that just needs the right mentor. I think he just needs the right people around him. And I'm almost afraid that if Terrence Lewis goes to Tennessee or goes to another school, I think we're going to replay the situation that happened to a lot of these kids that ended up going to Nebraska and then finding out how bad it was and leaving and coming back to South Florida. I think with Terrence Lewis, you just need an Ed Reed. I think
I was just
really
about to ask.
I really do think that Terrence Lewis, at the end of the day, I think he's going to come to Miami for a couple reasons. One, he wants to be home, deep down in his heart. Two, he's got family. He's comfortable here, even though there's things going on, maybe either at home or whatnot. He's not going to be at home anymore. Even though he's still in Miami, he's going to be around a lot of kids his age, a lot of kids that have gone through similar situations as him, a lot of kids that have made it out on the other side, to where he's able to look at kids and relate to them and see a proven product, right? It's hard to not believe in something until you see it. And I think with the kids around him at Miami currently that relate to him all the time, I mean, I don't think he could relate to a lot of Tennessee kids, but I think Ed Reed is the deciding factor. I think Ed Reed would be a perfect guy for Terrence Lewis.
I agree with you, man. I agree. It's a tough situation with him, man, because you don't you want to better him and put him in the very best situation, but you also want to help him, but you also want to avoid any future problems that could come up. When are you coming back down to South Florida, bro?
Now that you moved down there, I'm gonna have to do it a little bit more often, right? So we can kick it more. But I'm trying. I'm thinking the North Carolina game. I'll probably come down for the North Carolina game.
You're not Georgia Tech?
Nah, man. I won't be able to make it to Georgia Tech, unfortunately. But I'm gonna try my best to do the North Carolina game, and then obviously a bowl game as well.
Sweet. Hell yeah. Okay, brother. Thank you so much for coming on. It has been too long. Hope you and the fam are good.
Likewise, brother. You guys as well. You two keep doing your thing. Hey, man, and then we got another victory. It's on to Virginia Tech. I think it's gonna be battle of the quarterbacks this weekend. Hooker first king. I think both teams, the game plan should be stopping the quarterback and let everybody else around them beat you. I think we're really gonna have to find out this weekend how legit is De'Aaron King. We saw what he can do. We saw him take that next Heisman candidate type level, and I think he's got to continue for us to continue winning.
Yeah, well, I couldn't agree more, man. And thank you for coming on. It's always glad to have you. Always good to have you, just like Marsh said. And let's hope we can score. I got a feeling that Virginia Tech's gonna do about 40, maybe 50 on us. So we're gonna have to catch up.
Oh, all right, man, that hurt.
God.
Yeah, man, you as well, Jordan, man. You guys keep killing it.
All right, sounds good, brother. Talk to you later.
All right, y'all be safe.
What do you think about that, Marsh? Are we going to talk about Virginia Tech with the next guest, or should we touch on it a little bit right now?
Is our next guest ready?
He is.
Okay, yeah, we can talk. I was planning on talking Virginia Tech with Daniel. So
cool. I'll call him in then.
Sweet.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah. What's up, Daniel?
Daniel, what's going on, brother? Thank you so much for coming on.
No problem. How you guys doing?
Not too bad.
Not doing too bad. Just still enjoying that win from Friday night. How'd you like that game, man?
It wasn't what I expected, but I'll take the big win. Any road win on like a Thursday or Friday night is a big win, because those are games where always it's crazy. Nothing ever works how it's supposed to. So anytime I can get a win out of that, I'm happy.
Absolutely. I mean, that's because I was not very confident heading into this game, because Friday night, those are the games that just feels like those are the kind of games that we usually lose. I mean, we dropped a Boston College game on Friday night a couple of years ago, but it was a huge win. And I know you're always posting stats and you're really into that. So, what really stuck out to you? I don't want to talk so much offensively, because we know what the offense did. I want to ask you what stuck out to you defensively, what you liked and what you didn't like.
So I think the run defense was a lot better than it's been. Teams that have run outside zone have killed us pretty all season, but it's been a historical thing with Manny. That's just a weakness of the defense. And it's been rough this year. They did pretty good. Outside of one big run, it was like 3 yards per carry. So that's where you want it. The pass defense, there were so many plays where the corner was like 6 inches away from breaking it up or picking it off, and then the receiver just got it. And it just happened like 6 times where 50-50 balls just didn't work out for the corners. And it's hard to do well on defense when you're giving up 20 to 30-yard catches consistently.
I thought there were even plays. I can't remember if this touchdown was against Blades or Ivy, but it was almost like he couldn't have done anything. It was just a perfectly thrown ball. And I can't remember the NC State receiver's name. I think 86, but Coach Diaz was talking about him all day today during his press conference, saying that this is the kind of guy that can play at Clemson. What do you think was the biggest difference? Because, first, second, and third quarter, the defense is, we got our asses kicked. Fourth quarter, our defense allows just 6 yards, I believe. What do you think, was the biggest difference in terms of that? Do you think it was more so of NC State just trying to play conservative, or what do you think?
So I think kind of the staple of Manny Diaz's defenses, and it's carried over with Baker, is the defense is at its best when you have one guy take over plays. So it's never been like you need every guy to play perfect every snap. It's I need someone to make a play. And on that last quarter, really, Silvera went crazy. So he had the one tackle for loss where he basically took the center, tackled him into the running back. Huge 5-yard loss, ruined that drive. Next drive, they try to run it up the middle again. He blows it up again. The last drive after Miami took the lead on the Ivy pick, Silvera took the guard, walked him into the quarterback, and you get a pick. Having someone who could just take over like that, that's all it takes for his defense, because he lets guys just make the play. And if someone likes with Silvera's talent decides just I'm going to take this game over, that's all it took. Like there was no scheme change. It wasn't any big thing. It was Silvera taking over that quarter on every aspect of the game.
Well, I mean, that I love that analysis, and with that being said, that's exactly what our fans have been asking for, right? Is like that was the big complaint with Al Golden and Mark D'Onofrio was like believe in the players and the personnel enough to let them make a play, right? Stop doing this read and react stuff and just let the players get upfield and do their thing, right? Because we're recruiting the most talented guys in the country. At least we're recruiting from the biggest talent hotbed in the country. So, I mean, it's hard to argue with that philosophy defensively.
Yeah, that this defense is just it's very, very, very frustrating at times because you see what it can be. I mean, guys like Silvera, it just Nesta is the perfect explanation for this. I feel like because he's just so up and down, and he hasn't been, I feel like, consistent enough to the standards of what we predicted for him this season. What are your thoughts on Nesta and how he's played this year? Because this was a very, very big junior year for him.
Yeah, it's been up and down. It's hard for D tackles just because it's easy for them to either like get taken out of the game just by the offensive game plan, or just like getting tired after like 60 snaps, which Miami plays their D-line a ton. But like you saw what he can do, and he's not doing that consistently for sure. I think they might want to try him on like the third down defense. Hunt's been pretty good, but I think letting him rush the passer more than they have been might help him. Just from letting him get consistent pass rush work, because he's been really good against the run. It's not like he doesn't get blown up or blown off the ball. It's just sometimes you just don't see him because he's not in a position to make the play. But I feel like of the D tackle group, he's easily been like the best guy. Hunt's been really good and coming on late in the season. He got the start last week. Ford's been okay, but I don't know. I feel like it's the same thing on the whole defense. Is there's a lot of guys almost getting there, and we've seen it with Phillips. Phillips gets pressure, and the quarterback just gets out. He rolls out. Roche's been getting pressure, but again, he'll just miss. The corner's getting within an inch of the ball and then missing. It feels like it's just like over and over each game, we're just missing it. Whereas the last couple of years, the guys just get home.
Yeah, I also expected maybe, I expected a little bit more from John Ford this year. He played a little bit better on Friday night, but I expected more from him. I want to move on to...
He lost his starting job. Did you see that?
He did, yeah. Harrison Hunt started on Friday night. And you know what? I was calling for that after the Louisville game, honestly. And so quickly want to jump to offense. How did you – obviously this was by far – the best game out of the wide receiver group, but not a lot of people. I want to ask you about the offensive line and specifically about guys like Zion Nelson, because he was asked about today during interviews. How did you feel like the offensive line played on Friday night? And honestly, how do you think they've played since the Clemson game?
So I kind of, one thing NC State does is they bring a lot of like varied pressure. So they have the 3 down linemen, and then they bring guys from everywhere. And Miami just picked it up consistently, which is something they've been really bad at. Obviously, the Clemson game's a big one where they just let everything get through.